So the NFL has found itself in the middle of yet another controversy. On Monday, the league announced that a former federal judge acting as an independent disciplinary officer ruled that Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson would be suspended 6 games for violating its personal conduct policy. That followed accusations of sexual misconduct made against him by 24 women working as massage therapists in the Houston area. In a report presented by the NFL in the disciplinary hearing, Watson is accused of exposing himself to several of the massage therapists, purposefully touching them with his erect penis and even ejaculating on one of them. Watson has denied all of the allegations against him. Judge Sue L. Jackson decided on that 6-game suspension because she deemed the sexual misconduct to be, quote, nonviolent. She said 6 games was in line with other nonviolent offenders of NFL's personal conduct policy in the past. But following days of backlash, the NFL decided to appeal that ruling. The league had originally sought a full-year suspension, so it's likely they're going to push for more than just those 6 games. Ultimately, the punishment will now be up to Commissioner Roger Goodell. But even if Deshaun Watson does get a longer suspension, he still stands to cash in, cha-ching, this season. The suspension would make him forfeit just a small fraction of the then record-setting $230 million contract extension he signed with the Browns over the offseason. His massive signing bonus and guaranteed salary won't be touched. So to be clear, the 6 games that he was originally expected to miss would have resulted in him losing only $345,000 of his $230 million contract. Watson is also yet to face any criminal charges, and he settled 23 of the 24 civil lawsuits against him out of court. The lawyer for several of his accusers had some choice words for the NFL in an interview with ESPN earlier this week.
Unfortunately, the exact same thing I said 15 months ago, I can say now. The NFL has no interest, does not care about the rights of women. They care about the bottom line. They care about making money. They're trying to manage this as a PR crisis. But as far as trying to do anything to assuage these particular women or women's rights or dealing with women's rights in general, that's not part of their mission statement. And they've made that very clear throughout this process.
Joining me now is Lindsey Jones. She's the senior NFL editor for The Ringer, and she's the president of the Pro Football Writers of America. Lindsey, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. In the original disciplinary ruling by Judge Sue L. Robinson, she acknowledged that the NFL presented sufficient evidence to support those disturbing sexual misconduct claims. But take us through how she only came up with a 6-game suspension in the first place.
Sure. So this was a pretty strict interpretation of the exact language of the personal conduct policy. And I think, as you mentioned, she referred back to precedent and previous disciplinary decisions for players like Ben Roethlisberger, who had a 6-game suspension, and other players that were in that range. So she took some issue, I think, with the way that the NFL has handled discipline in the past and the way that its conduct policies are currently written, so that she couldn't apply a longer suspension like what the NFL had asked for. The NFL went into their hearing earlier this summer asking for an indefinite suspension of at least a year.
Yeah, but Lindsey, it's my understanding she could have actually given more suspensions, and her ruling, as we're going to call it, would have been binding. Now we see the NFL has appealed that 6-game suspension. What's next procedurally for people to be considering at this point?
Yeah, so the way that the collective bargaining is they gave Roger Goodell final say. So they gave him the appeal power. So they set up the system where a neutral arbiter, in this case, Sue L. Robinson, would get to make the initial ruling. And then both sides would have the ability to appeal any sort of discipline in any of these personal conduct cases back to Roger Goodell. Goodell is not going to hear the appeal himself. He is going to designate somebody else to do so. But ultimately, this is going to be Roger Goodell and the league's decision. And that's the power that the collective bargaining agreement has given him.
Interesting that the CBA is kind of driving a lot of the parameters of what happens here. Lindsey, I'm going to ask you to read some tea leaves for us. How long of a suspension do you think ultimately Deshaun Watson will be facing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely going to be more than 6 games. I think that's pretty fair to say at this point. The NFL all along all through the last several months, has said that they wanted at least a year. So we'll see if Roger Goodell's designee goes all the way to 17 plus games, or if it comes out somewhere more of a compromise in the, 10, 12, 14 game range, or if ultimately they go to a year. So I do think 6 games is not going to happen, though.
Lindsay, quickly before I have to let you go, do you know if Deshaun Watson could negotiate with the NFL and say, fine, I'll do more than 6, but it's got to be less than 10 or something like that?
Yeah, I think that ship is passed at this point. There was a long time that they could have negotiated a settlement, but Watson and his side were starting at 0 and the league was coming in at 17 plus. So
Gotcha.
there really wasn't a lot of middle ground there.
Understood. Lindsay, thank you so much for being here with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So Molly and Danielle are back with me. Molly, I'm going to start with you. What's the messaging that's coming from the NFL now? I mean, historically, not such a great reputation of the NFL to care about women. But now they're appealing this decision. And as we heard from Lindsay, they were originally asking for the max the entire season. So do you think that NFL is doing right by the messaging in terms of we care about women now?
I mean, they don't have a great reputation as caring about women. And this seems pretty egregious, right? Like, this is sexual assault. Is this sexual assault? It seems like it's sexual assault to me. I still don't understand why there aren't criminal charges coming. And this is a lot of women. I mean, this is not like a few women. This is like clearly a person who has done this to many, many women. So it's sort of shocking to me that this is even being tolerated. I mean, these are crimes, right? Like, in the normal world, like, when you do crimes, you get fired from your job.
In the normal world, right, Danielle?
It's like normal.
I'm like,
don't you think, like,
or you face, the same amount of sexual assault allegations and you become president of the United States.
Well,
so I'm not sure what normal world we're in.
But I mean, if you were just like a normal person with a job and you committed crimes,
you would
lose
go to
your
jail.
job. Yeah, and you would go to jail.
Well, listen, and of course, undergirding all of this is the presumption of innocence and the absence of it. But Danielle, this retired judge, woman, right? So optically, it was the good thing, right, to have a retired female judge do this. But she said it was, quote, nonviolent in nature. And that's what drove her to only do the 6-game suspension. She relied on that prior precedent. And she also went on in this opinion that I read. She said, you got to give notice to people if you're going to change the rules on them kind of at the last second. He had no idea that he could potentially be looking at more suspensions. But let's talk about the NFL's history. When we were preparing for the segment, I wanted to talk about Ray Rice. Do you remember Ray Rice? The video surveillance of him knocking his girlfriend unconscious, or the woman in the elevator. Right? So Ray Rice, he only got a 2-game suspension for his now wife knocking her unconscious in that hotel elevator. Has the NFL learned its lesson from the Ray Rice experience?
No, I think that what ends up happening is that these cases become public, right? The only reason why Ray Rice even received a 2-game penalty was because there was video footage, right? And so I think that when this judge is talking about nonviolent offenses, I'm assuming that in her mind, she thinks because there was no penetration, there was no actual rape, that then this isn't a violent offense. But I think that this is pretty violent. I think that if I'm going in to provide a service for you and you are assaulting me or accosting me, whether or not it's actual rape, I think that this is pretty violent. And over 24 women, right, that he has paid off. Right, in civil suits, 23 of the 24 women have been paid off. And so when we look at this and we say to ourselves, like, oh, is the NFL doing better? No, they get caught. Right? They get caught. But the idea that this man is still going to receive $230 million, the penalty is $375,000. So basically, the NFL is going to give him a year vacation with full pay. It must be nice.
And people need to realize, too, the way they structured his salary was such a joke, because they almost contemplated the idea that he was not going to be playing. So they were going to stagger it in a way where he makes the bulk of his money after a suspension's done. Molly, the judge in this case included, as a part of her whopping 6-game suspension ruling, the idea that there was no show of remorse expressed by Deshaun Watson. I want to play you a little bit of sound here. This is the Cleveland Browns head coach, Kevin Stefanski, what he had to say about Deshaun Watson. Take a listen.
I believe Deshaun has told you guys in a press conference, he's told me privately, he wants to be the best version of himself. I believe that wholeheartedly. He's working on that. And I'll let Deshaun at some point speak for himself. I think just in my time with him and being around him, I've seen a person that both publicly and privately has said that he wants to be the best version of himself.
The best version of himself, Molly. I mean, this still smacks of the boys club, right? The bro club, the bro code. It's like it happened and he's trying really hard. So let's pay him $200-something million more to make sure he gets there.
Why isn't he being charged with any crimes? I mean, these are all
no
crimes.
Grand juries return charges.
Right. I mean, like, if there's a world where you don't get charged with crimes when you do them and you have 24 witnesses, like, I think we have a larger problem even than the NFL.
Yeah, it's 24 victims, actually.
Right.
And the thing is, did it need 24? No. It should only have to be one.
Right.
And we kind of saw this a little bit when we look at other cases like Bill Cosby, Harvey Weinstein, this idea that sometimes it's the proverbial busload of nuns that you need to come parading through to be able to make it happen. But Danielle, I'll let you have the last word on this, though. You know, the fans of the NFL, the number of women, it's grown up. It's even larger than before. As recently as 2020, Roger Goodell said women made up 47% of their viewing audience. So do you think, though, that the female fans of the NFL are watching this closely enough to say, I want to see if the NFL does right by us?
I think that we have all been collectively brainwashed in America to believe that men are able to do whatever the hell they want, right? Mm-hmm. That if you have enough money, if you have enough fame, you're able to do those things. And it's always been incumbent upon women to keep your legs closed, to keep your head down, to cover yourself up. So whether it is that we are talking about, an NFL player or a delivery driver, it is always incumbent upon the woman to show, what was done to you. So whether we bring in 24 other women or 50 as it pertains to Bill Cosby or the R. Kelly case, there's so many. Why do we need so many? Right? How many times does this man need an opportunity to be the best person he can be? Really? He didn't know it the first time. He didn't know it the second time, the third, the 10th, or the 15th. Come on. Right? So it's the idea that men get to have locker room talk, that boys will be boys, and apparently boys never turn into men because they're never held accountable.
As we wrap this segment, I will include that the conclusion from this judge included the following. I nevertheless believe it appropriate for Mr. Watson to limit his massage therapy to club-directed sessions and club-approved massage therapists for the duration of his career, and so impose this mandate as a condition to his reinstatement. So to protect the female massage therapists of the world, they only have to be NFL or club therapists. It's pretty stupid.
Yeah.
Pretty bad. Yeah. Molly Jong-Fast, Danielle Moody, thank you so much for being here, my friends. You made this conversation amazing.